public, if you wish to address the council. Please complete the public wishing to address the council form located on the end of the counter and give it to our council clerk prior to the beginning of the meeting. All public comments must be addressed to the council as a whole. Addressing individual council members or staff is not allowed. Speakers should be courteous in their choice of words or actions, and comments shall be limited to the issues and cannot involve individuals or staff-related matters. All cell phones, pagers, and electronic devices used for communication should be silenced for the duration of the meeting. I'd like to call the meeting of the Terrebonne Parish Council to order Wednesday, August 10th, 2022. Mr. Babin, could you lead us in a prayer followed by a pledge? God, if I can figure out which mouse I'm supposed to use. There we go.
Got it. Dear Lord, over the past several weeks, this council and council staff has experienced two heartbreaking losses. First, our council clerk, Suzette Thomas. Then our former council clerk, Vanita Chauvin's husband, David. Lord, we ask that you raise them both into your eternal kingdom of heaven. And Lord, we also ask that you send graces and good favor to their families. We ask this in your name, Jesus Christ.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hampton, roll call.
Mr. Trosclair? Here. Mr. Navy? Mr. Harding?
Here.
Mr. Michel? Mr. Amade? Here. Mrs. Domain?
Here.
Mr. Daring Guidry?
Here.
Mr. Babin? Here. Mr. Dirk Guidry? Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum present.
A few notes. We have a letter from Mr. John Navy saying, please be advised that I will be absent for tonight's council meeting, but I have reviewed the agenda and will follow up on matters requiring my attention. I apologize for any inconvenience my absence may cause. And in accordance with the American with Disabilities Act, we are accommodating Mr. Gerald Michel via Zoom. Memorials. Memorial honoring the services of the late Terrebonne Parish Council Clerk, Ms. Suzette Thomas. Mr. Carl Harding.
Good evening. This memorial reads, City of Houma, Louisiana, Parish of Terrebonne Memorial. Whereas Almighty God, in his infinite wisdom, called to eternal rest the soul of Miss Suzette Thomas on July 17th, 2022, at the age of 52. And whereas the Terrebonne Parish Council, the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, and the entire community mourns the loss of this great woman who served as a public employee for 27 years and was appointed as the first African-American council clerk. And whereas Ms. Thomas will be remembered by many for her passion, her thoughtfulness, and her devotion to assist and connect with others, especially those in need and those from all walks of life. And whereas Ms. Thomas's legacy will in part be made evident by her involvement in many professional organizations, including the Organization of Parish Administrative Officials, Louisiana Association of Municipal Secretaries and Assistants, and the Democratic Party Executive Committee, which allowed her to provide for the community she loved. And whereas she has touched the lives of many through her active participation in civic organizations, including the United Way, La Terre Federal Credit Union, and the Finding Our Roots Museum, of which she was a founding member, all of which allowed her to further serve the community she cared for. And whereas God spoke, and Miss Thomas heard the scripture, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord for henceforth. Yea, said the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. That was from Revelations, the 14th chapter and the 13th verse. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Council and the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government offers its deepest and sincerest condolences to Ms. Thomas's family, friends, and loved ones. Be it further resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on the behalf of the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government that the transition of the Lord's kind servant, Ms. Suzette Thomas, be hereby acknowledged and duly noted on the date that it was written, the 30th of July, in the year of our Lord, 2022. It was signed by Parish President Gordon E. Dove, Council Chairman Darren W. Guidry Sr., and the rest of this council, and I may add, and the rest of the members of Terrebonne Parish, and those people that she touched throughout the state. Congratulations to the family of a life well served, to Ms. Suzette Thomas. Thank you. Anyone for the family?
They have it whenever we dropped it off.
Good evening, Terrebonne Parish Council. We, the family of Suzette Thomas, are honored to be here today to honor her memory. She was an extraordinary woman. She was dedicated to the citizens of Terrebonne Parish, as well as many other organizations throughout the state. She will be dearly missed, not only by our family and friends, but by many of those organizations. I often say that you all had the better twin, and now y'all are stuck with me. And I'm no way in shape and form like Suzette. I'm the total opposite of that dear, loving, kind, compassionate person in which she was. She was dedicated to the parish of Terrebonne under her position of Terrebonne Parish Council Clerk. And I will tell you all that she loved her job. The job was difficult, the job was hard, the job was challenging, but she loved what she did. She was happy to work with many of the council people that came before you all, and some of you all that are still sitting on the board today. I can truly say she enjoyed working with the administration. She developed a lot of friendships with her colleagues within the parish government, and they have all expressed their sincere condolences in her absence. While our hearts are heavy with not seeing her in the physical, we do live with the memories in which she had in our lives. And so that is what is going to bring us through. There were a lot of questions as to what happened and why. We don't address what happened or why. We address we love her. And she fought to the end. In her last days, she was still working for the council of what needed to be done for the citizens of Terrebonne Parish. During Hurricane Ida, she was diligently seeking measures and ways in which she can improve on our preparedness and our response to disaster and emergency situations. She was truly a dedicated Terrebonne Parish employee. And so, we say thank you for the beautiful plant. We will continue to enjoy her memories. And we're going to say, Suzette, in heaven, you're blessed. Thank you so much for being a part of our lives. Thank you.
Hold on, Susan. Mr. Michel wants to say something.
Can't hear him.
Yep, we can't hear him. What are we doing wrong, Keith? But
Okay, we're good?
we got you. Go ahead.
Ms. Susan, thank you so much for being here tonight. And I really can't say anything more than what was already said in the memorial for Suzette. But I just want you to know that I loved her dearly, that she meant a lot to me and to everyone around her, and the things that she did in and for the parish and in and for the state. I've had the privilege of being able to talk to her about some of those items, and she was an encouragement to me. And I can't say enough. She's in my heart. She's in my prayers. We'll continue to pray for her soul. And again, thank you so much for this opportunity to express these feelings to you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Susan, from the chair, of course, Suzette had 27 years with Terrebonne Parish. And, she worked closely together with me as chairman and really was such a wealth of knowledge
Yes.
that, I really miss. We have some good people stepping up, but 27 years is hard to, she was just such a valuable asset. And I just want to know her losses felt by the chairman, especially so.
Thank you.
And thank you all for lending her to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Moving along, approve the minutes of the special session condemnation held on July 11th, 2022. Moved by Mr. Carl Harding.
Second.
Seconded Ms. Jessica Domang. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approve the minutes of the regular council session held on July 13th, 2022. Move Mr. Dirk Gidry.
Second.
Seconded Ms. Jessica Domang. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Distribute minutes of the special session held on July 25th, 2022, which we've done. Distribute minutes of the regular council session held on July 27th, 2022, which we've done. Approve accounts payable bill list for August 1st, 2022 and August 8th, 2022. Move Mr. Carl Harding.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jessica Domang. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? General business. Proclamation proclaiming the week of August 8th through the 12th, 2022 as National Healthcare Week in Terrebonne Parish. Ms. Domang.
Yes, it is my great honor to read this proclamation as I actually work at a healthcare center. From the city of Houma, Louisiana, the parish of Terrebonne, proclamation. Whereas for over 50 years, community health centers have provided high quality, affordable, comprehensive, primary and preventative health care in our nation's underserved communities, delivering value to and having a significant impact on America's healthcare system. And whereas as the country country's largest primary care network, community health centers are the healthcare home for 30 million Americans in over 14,000 communities across the nation. And whereas community health centers are a critical element of the health system, serving both rural and urban communities and often providing the only accessible and dependable source of primary care in their communities. And whereas community health centers serve as beacons of essential resources and support in testing and treatment in the face of the global coronavirus pandemic, and will continue to offer reliable, affordable, high-quality care against COVID-19 for Americans' most vulnerable and underserved communities. And whereas every day community health centers develop new approaches to integrating a wide range of services beyond primary care, including oral health, vision, behavioral health, and pharmacy services to meet the needs and challenges of their communities. And whereas community health centers are governed by patient minority boards, ensuring that the patients of each healthcare center are engaged in their own healthcare decisions. And whereas community health centers nationally employ more than 253,000 people, including physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and certified nurse midwives who work as multidisciplinary clinical teams designed to treat the whole patient. I would like to add social workers to that. And whereas during National Healthcare Week, we celebrate the legacy of America's community health centers and their vital role in shaping the past, present, and future of America's healthcare system. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Terrebonne Parish Council, on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish President Gordon E. Dove and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, do hereby proclaim August 8th through August 12th, 2022 as National Health Center Week, and encourages all Americans to take part in this week by visiting their local healthcare center and celebrate the important partnership between America's community health centers and their communities they serve. President, this 10th day of August 2022, signed by Parish President Gordon E. Dove, Council Chairman Darren W. Guidry, and the entire Parish Council.
Do you have anybody here to receive the proclamation?
Casey Guidry's here. He's from START.
Oh, Mr. Guidry, would you like to come up? Thank you, Ms. Domingue. Moving along, commending Mr. Jerome Boykin Sr. on his accomplishments and his ongoing service to Terrebonne Parish. Mr. Carl Harding.
Good evening again. The City of Houma, Louisiana, Parish of Terrebonne, commendation. Whereas Mr. Jerome Boykin Sr., a lifelong and renowned resident of Houma, is to be recognized for the ongoing services and commitment to Terrebonne Parish. And whereas for over 28 years, Mr. Boykin has been a proud member of the Terrebonne Parish NAACP, where he currently serves as president, striving to ensure excellence, justice, and quality of all Terrebonne Parish residents. And whereas the Terrebonne Parish NAACP has been have seen many successes while under Mr. Boykin's leadership, including being named Outstanding Branch of the Year in the state of Louisiana for multiple years. And whereas through the NAACP and its Freedom Fund program, Mr. Boykin has enabled many scholarships that assisted with tuitions and textbooks costs for students pursuing higher education across the state. And whereas Mr. Boykin has been instrumental in many efforts to promote positive relationships and provide for greater integration in his community, especially within the local businesses, Mardi Gras crews, and other organizations. And whereas Mr. Boykin remains committed to address inequalities and discrimination in education, housing, employment for all parish residents. Now therefore be it resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on behalf of the parish president and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government that Mr. Jerome Boykin Sr. be hereby recognized and commended, and that he be presented the key of the city, representing the importance of his achievements and efforts in service to excellence, justice, and equality for all residents of Terrebonne Parish. It was signed by Parish President Gordon Dove. It was also signed and authored by Mr. John Navy, Councilman District 2, and representing the Terrebonne Parish Council, to be presented to Mr. Jerome Boykin Sr., President of the NAACP, Terrebonne Parish.
Who was the woman who was killed? Why she removed her earring? Not only yours, Adrian, I'll be your servant. I have yours. But we haven't ordered yet. I assume you wanted soup. Was that why wait until the last minute? I understand your friend's my employer, Mr. Nichols.
Well, first of all, Mr. Michel, could you turn the radio, or do you have something down?
No, I'm new here. Sorry to hear about your house.
We're still getting used to this Cajun engineering we got going on here with this Zoom meeting. Go ahead, Mr. Boykin.
I just want to say thank you to the Terrebonne Parish Council and also to our parish president, Mr. Gordon Dove.
Thank you, Mr. Boykin. Hold on. Mr. Michel wants to say something.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes, sir.
I just want to thank you. Thank you for everything you do for the parish. When you do things, you do them thoughtfully and intellectually, and you make good choices on what you're going to support and what you're not going to support. You and I don't always agree, but we agree most of the time. And I just want to thank you for everything. And also, what wasn't mentioned is your dedication to step up a step further by serving on the Rec 2-3 board, and I'm sure there are many other boards and commissions that you're involved in one way or another. So thank you for your services to Terrebonne Parish. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
And of course, Mr. Boykin, you're one of my constituents.
Right.
And, I hope everyone knows that no matter whether you or I agree or disagree, that, when you call me, I'm there as your councilman, and I still will be there for years to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving along. Commendation commending Mr. Morton Falls for his accomplishments for ongoing service to Terrebonne Parish. Mr. John Navy called and asked if I would read this, and I was very pleased to say yes. And the commendation goes as such: whereas Mr. Morton Falls, a long-standing and renowned resident of Houma, is to be recognized for his ongoing service and commitment to the betterment of Terrebonne Parish. And whereas Mr. Falls, a proud Vanderbilt Catholic High School graduate and Nichols State University broadcast journalism graduate, has found many successes in the film, television, and music industries. And whereas in 1985, Mr. False founded the area's first successful television station, HTV, which has become an invaluable asset to the community by continually providing exceptional award-winning coverage of local news and issues for Terrebonne Parish and surrounding areas. And whereas Mr. False also provides for his community through generous contributions to local schools, churches, and other charities, and through his steadfast support of veterans and veterans affairs. And whereas Mr. False's efforts to inform, educate, and entertain through HTV and various media have made positive, lasting impacts to Terrebonne Parish and its residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Terrebonne Parish Council on behalf of the Terrebonne Parish President and the entire Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, Mr. Martin False be hereby recognized and commended, and that he be presented a key to the city to represent the importance and impact of his service to Terrebonne Parish as journalist, broadcaster, and philanthropist. And it's signed by Mr. Gordon Dove and Mr. Navy, signed on behalf of our Terrebonne Parish Council.
Say cheese.
Mr. Martin.
All right, I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. It's certainly a team effort. I may be the front guy, but Jen's here. They got a lot of other people that do a lot of work and a lot of effort. So this may go to me tonight, but it will go to each and every one of them when I bring it back. I want to also congratulate Mr. Boykin on your accommodation, well deserved. And I was a little confused when I first started covering council meetings. We had Mr. Dewey, we had Danny's father-in-law, Mr. Marcella. I was looking at Mr. Bubby Lyons, Bobby Bazeron, Donald Landry. Yeah. We can go down the list. But what was different was when I walked in today, Sherry Ezel, who's back here, said, "Martin, you're looking good." I was feeling good when I went to sit down, and then I came by former Councilman Wayne Thibodeau, and he said my coat was getting pretty tight. So I'm a little bit confused, you know. But I told him I'd try to lose 30 pounds for the next one. But once again, I've had the privilege of working with 8 administrations, and I got to tell you, what I'm looking at with the administration up here and with the council, y'all have done quite a bit for this parish. And I'm a good one to gauge it because I've seen the progress over all these years. And just like y'all have alluded to, we don't always see eye to eye. This is not always the friendliest place for a media outlet, but we've been able to progress. When we have disagreements, we work them out. And I've always said, and a lot of you have taken me up on it, you always are welcome on HTV to come up and state your platform, whatever it may be, and that will continue. And we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thanks to all the efforts that y'all do each and every day. We appreciate y'all. Thank you very much.
Hang on, Martin. Mr. Dove.
Yeah, Martin, you know, and look, thank you for everything your station, you've done with your station and personally. You know, in 2005, when you did the call for action and got Kathleen Blanco, Governor Kathleen Blanco, that sort of led the charge on where we at today, from the levee systems to the lock systems to the pump stations, et cetera. And then we had it at the Civic Center, and it was right after Katrina and Rita, and it was the biggest crowd I've ever seen there. And you started it there with the call for action. A lot of people, if they remember back, they'll remember that. And Martin, you've covered from hurricanes. And I'm not going to list all the hurricanes. There's too many, but Hurricane Juan, Andrew, Katrina, Rita, Gustav, Ike, Zeta, when we had like 5 in a row, Barry, and then, of course, the worst of the worst was Ida. And you were there. We constantly getting the people, getting them information. It's so important. And now you for years you've done the internet, and you're streaming over 60, 70,000 people or more, and letting people know out of town what's going on in their parish with this Cat 4, which should have been a category Cat 5. And Martin, you've been there all the way with Morganza and everything we've done. And then I'm not going to forget about news, crime, and all the issues, the social events, and especially the veterans that you really, really was passionate of because of the veterans, and of course because of your father, and God bless him, and that you led award every year, and you've put on July 4th, and you've helped put it on. But thank you for everything you've done. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve with you. I've been serve with you as a state rep and as parish president for going on 18 and a half years. Thank you very much, and it's well deserved, Mark. An honor to give it to you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, and Martin, again, thank you for, your cameras here, video taping us, and you air our council meetings. Not everybody gets the government channel, and you do that. We don't pay anything for that. It's a service you provide to people, and I know a lot of people comment to me that they watch it and they've seen it. And so, on behalf of myself, I appreciate what you do to help us inform the community.
If I may say something in closing, if nobody else has, Andy will appreciate this. Just some prayers for Dr. Gerald Haydell, who's sort of at the end of his time, and he's struggling tonight, but he's done so much for this community. So tonight, when you lay and that's Jules' father-in-law, when you lay your head down, he's done so much for this community. So just a special prayer for Dr. Gerald Haydell. That'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. And Martin reminded me that I failed to recognize Mr. Wayne Thibodeau, former Terrebonne Parish councilman, who's here in our audience. Moving along, presentation by administration relative to capital projects, including drainage, utility, road, quality of life projects, as well as other matters related to the operations and maintenance of the parish government. I think we're going to defer to our first item, which is Mrs. Paula Rome, Entergy Customer Service Manager, to address increasing cost of electric services. Ms. Rome.
Thank you, Darren. How do y'all put me up here following two of our greatest residents of Terrebonne Parish, Mr. Boynton and Mr. Martin? Very, very honorable commendations. Congratulations. First of all, I want to officially announce that I am the new Energy Customer Service Manager for Terrebonne Parish Government. So if you guys, y'all all have my contact information officially tonight. So if anybody on administration or the council need help with Entergy issues, I am the one that you are to contact, that I can help you guys out. I've already helped many of you already. So if you need some help, please let me know. And tonight I'm going to do a short presentation to better explain our energy bills that are higher than normal right now, that everybody is concerned about, and I'll do a little bit education for you guys and the public on what those bills entail. If Keith will pull that up for me. Thank you, Keith. Okay, so the first slide shows you an energy bill can be quite confusing reading it. The first three parts of an energy bill, the first part is what you would expect to see in an energy bill, and that is your usage. So as we know right now, it is record-breaking temperatures, so everybody's usage is higher than normal with the summer heat and increased usage. That is the part of the energy bill that you as a resident or a business owner can control, and what energy does make profit off of. The other two sections of the bill, the second biggest component is the fuel adjustment that you'll see on your bill, and that's the component that is really going up right now, and we'll talk about that a lot later on, and that is based on the natural gas prices that we are all experiencing as we speak. And the third part is the storm recovery cost. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. It's important to note that those two parts of the energy bill is energy does not make any profit off of those two sections. And as most of you probably do realize, Energy Louisiana is regulated by the Public Service Commission. So those two parts are regulated to us by the Public Service Commission. So what is really driving the cost of your bills going up? Quite simply, it is the cost of natural gas. It is the same reason that you are paying more at the gas pump for your cars. It is the same reason why we're paying more money at the grocery stores. The cost of natural gas is what we use to operate our numerous power generation facilities, and that price of natural gas is continuing to rise. As a result, that is causing higher than normal prices on your energy bills. These slides, I think, really tell the story. So if you break down a customer bill, residential bill breakdown for 1,000 kilowatt hours, just comparing apples to apples, in from 2020 to 2022 of July. So that's our highest usage, right? It's really hot. So the green line at the top shows that our energy rates, what energy charges you, has gone up in the last 2 years for 1,000 kilowatt hours from about $77 to $82. So our usage charges have not been risen very much at all. On the bar chart at the bottom, you will see that the other cost, especially that purple bar, which is the fuel cost, has risen dramatically. As you can clearly see. The other part of that bar chart is the storm recovery cost. And this is showing 2020 to 2022. Now, this chart right here, the box at the top is really what tells the story. So fuel costs on bills have increased for 1,000 kilowatt hours, $44, but most importantly, 250% since July of 2020 to July of 2022. All other costs, which includes storm recovery costs, has only increased about 19%. So the bottom line is that the fuel costs have increased very much, and that is really what is increasing the cost in our bills. It's not anything that I want to hear as an energy customer. It's not anything anybody else wants to hear, but that's the bottom line. It's the natural gas cost that is increasing our bills. And it's important to note that Energy Louisiana cannot earn a profit off of fuel. Fuel is a strict pass-through per the Louisiana Public Service Commission order. And here's some other charts to show the exact same thing. So you can see July 2020, all other costs were the biggest part. You can see fuel was just 18%. 2021, all other costs, fuel was 28% of your bill. And here we are, July 2022, fuel is 40% of your bill. So what are we doing to help our customers? Okay, it's very important to note that energy, unlike some of some of the co-ops like Sleeka we cannot go after federal funding. So we do not get funding from FEMA or HMGP or CDBG money or any of that kind of stuff after a storm. What we have done is so far we have committed $10 million in shareholder donations have been applied to all energy utilities bill payment assistance programs. That's similar to some of the programs you guys offer to low income. That has been put forth. We also are waiving any late fees, credit card payments, and we are working with Terrebonne Parish. I actually got the name of the person with the Kelly Cunningham works for you guys? Okay, so got Kelly Cunningham connected with our group, and we're actually gonna come into Terrebonne Parish and pick a handful of low-income housing and do some weatherization projects to show them how to weatherize your houses to make them more energy efficient. So we're gonna be doing some of that in the parish soon, starting in September, so you'll be hearing about that. So we have energy.com/billhelp, okay, that you can go to, and it talks about some of the things I talked about, how to get payment extensions, how to apply for payment plans and that kind of other thing. Now, you may have heard yesterday a press release went out from Energy stating that we are putting $4.4 million into some bill help. So some of the complaints we've heard is that we only are helping low-income people. What about people that make a little bit more money in low income? So what the press release went out yesterday is that Energy is putting $4.4 million into the local United Ways. The press release yesterday just named United Way of Southeast Louisiana, but as soon as maybe tomorrow, the press release will come out that we are also supporting the United Way in this area and giving money. And so people that it's a poverty level times 250%. So the number I saw is like for a household of 4 people, that's about $70,000 of their annual income can apply, and it's gonna be the money's gonna be given to the United Way. They're gonna apply to the United Way to get a certain of $150 off of their bill. So we're also putting that up as well. Energy is continuing to look at ways that we can help our customers. We know this is a burden on people, and this is the last burden on top of people being already stressed with money by the price of gas, by groceries going up, and all of that kind of stuff. So we understand the burden this is for our customers. So this is some of the stuff I talked about: deferred payment arrangement, payment extension, and levelized billing. If you are a residential customer and haven't looked into what it would be if you try levelized billing, now's the time to try. It's helping people save money. And we can't have a presentation without talking about preparation for a storm. Energy is prepared for a storm, and we have multiple ways for residents and businesses to stay informed and what's going on. We send out notifications through My Energy. If you're not signed up for My Energy, you should. We send out text messages when you have outages, when it's going to come back on. We have a storm center. Of course, follow us on social media. And we do have an outage map that is amazing. If you have an outage, you can look it up on your My Energy, and it'll tell you, yes, you're out, and when it'll come back on, what's the estimated recovery time. And again, hurricanes, this is worst case scenario, but this is what Energy goes by, is that we know we have to expect that if a storm comes, we have to expect that we're gonna have outages, and how long that's gonna take. We have done multiple measures to increase our system in Terrebonne Parish since Ida, but we have much more to do. We actually have met with the administration to talk about doing some work to increase the grids in the most hard-hit areas around here, especially around some of your important pump stations and that kind of stuff, to better the system where we know it was worst hit during Ida. So any questions?
Mr. Dove.
Paula, first of all, welcome. It's been great to work with you to date, and I think it's really good to have someone from this area that we can call in, and we deal a lot with Entergy and Sleek, and of course our own power. I was glad to see Entergy, Sleek, and others to come in and use larger power poles after the power poles were down. They packed rocks in them. If they're along a bayou or waterway, they're not only putting a power pole, but they're putting one in there to bolt it to. So they've got two poles together. More tiebacks. I've talked to Entergy and Sleek about this, and they've really done a good job of getting that. And I think it's a huge step to helping, because a lot of the poles down Montague, even though we lost some poles from the last hurricane, a lot of them survived. So it's a good. They also putting the transmission lines off to the side, which evidently they feel that, or engineers feel that's the better of them. And I think it's headed in the right direction. I've talked numerous times to you and Philip May, the president, and we look forward to working with it, because we still, we've got a totally damaged power plant here, and we're looking at having to come in with a portable power plant to help regulate the voltage because of this power plant being out. And we're starting to put the limestone pad in, and we're working on getting down there. Candace, Chris, and their groups, and Mike Toops, and everyone's worked diligently in getting the power, back. And I thank you and look forward to working with you. And if I call David at 6 a.m, I don't. Your husband, David Rome, I don't mean to wake you up too, but we as you know, we talk quite often, and it's a great deal. Welcome aboard, and let us see anything we can do for y'all. Thank y'all very much.
Gordy, can you keep it to 6:30 on a Saturday? Joking.
Okay, you got it.
And for those that don't know, Mr. David Rome, her husband, is our Public Works Director. Mr. Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Rome, Ms. Fontenot, thank you for coming. I know the public that's watching this is going to feel a little bit better knowing that Entergy is engaging in the area, that they've heard the voices screaming concerning these rapid increases in the bills. They may not like the explanation. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It is a pass-through, and they can look to the federal government for the increasing costs and the inflation that's happening. But again, I just want to commend the both of you and thank you for coming out, because we always like to be able to have that close contact so that when we do need something, we have somebody like Mr. Dove said that we can work with who's close. Yeah. So Labadeville, which serves part of the Shreva area, and then Ms. Rome, which is covering the rest of the Terrebonne Parish area. Hang on, it's going to be a ride with some of us. We get a little irritable, but please deal graciously with us, and we'll make it up. Just watch out for dirt. So again, thank you both for coming.
And thank you, Ms. Amity. I apologize. Stacy Fontenot is here, my colleague from Entergy. People see me and they say, "What happened to Stacy?" Nothing. She's still here. We couldn't do it without her. Stacy and I cover the same territory. Entergy just split up. That I handle the government accounts and municipalities in the area, and Stacy handles the managed accounts, the big businesses, hospitals, stuff like that. Main markets, yeah.
Mr. Dirk Guidry.
Yeah, I'm not going to yell at nobody from Entergy tonight.
We've been nice to you, Dirk.
You have, and that's what I wanted to say. You guys have stepped up and did a great job. It's nice having somebody local that I could pick up the phone and talk to anytime. And if you are busy, you give me a call within a couple of hours, and we get it done. And every time that I've called and asked you for something, you've delivered. So I sure appreciate it. And I know it was pretty hectic after the storm, and we had all kind of constituents calling on us and hollering at us, and we hollering at you guys, but you guys stepped up and did a great job. So thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and from the chair, thank you for coming. The only thing, when I speak to my constituents, I mention the level billing, if they talk about they're having issues. But one of the questions they ask me is how, they're concerned about calling because they're thinking that the level billing is just going to mean they're going to take this bill and multiply it by 12. How is level billing calculated from the previous year? If you could quickly
Absolutely.
explain.
So typically what they do for the level billing is
Into the mic, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
For the level billing, they'll take the last 12 months, they'll look at the usage for the last 12 months, and they'll get the average. So that's the amount that it starts with. And if they see as it moving forward, if the actual usage is declining some, they're going to adjust the level billing as well.
But what about that energy fee? Do you calculate it on that energy fee that we saw today, or do you average out the energy fee?
It includes from the past 12 months. So these past few months of the high bills, unfortunately, that's going to be included in that average as well.
So if they do level billing and the energy fee goes down, then they need to get off of level billing.
That's correct.
All right, thanks.
That's correct. And it's easy for the level billing to go online. If you have the My Energy app, they can sign up that way. You can actually see what your level billing estimate would be. It gives you that option as well before you sign up.
Mr. Harding.
Yes, and that was my concern too, because I had several people that level building. Sometimes it just reaches out and touch you, you know what I mean? And dealing with energy, you know what I mean? You get a shock of that bill. So that consideration, like Mr. Darren Gidry said, you know what I mean? That's the problem. But one thing that was interesting that you actually said, the method of reporting, and then you say you have a system or a chart or a board that you can actually have the outage that are out. And that outage that's there, I have a number of people, and I'm glad you're here because, you know what I mean, Gardy called, I text David early in the morning. But we have people that need services, you know what I mean, for remote locations. Sometimes they're just isolated, like, you know what I mean, somewhere mobile states or something like that at the end of the way. And I found the problem that I had a problem getting in contact with someone. So just like everyone else, now I know who to call, and I texted David and said, well, David, you know what I mean, I apologize, but I need to contact your wife. And I call him in the morning. So I appreciate you.
You can text me too, Corley.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna appreciate the opportunity to know who I'm talking to, and as a local person. So that's what I really need. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming.
And can I make one more comment as well?
Sure, go ahead.
To the My Energy app, I really encourage the customers that are listening and all the residents to enroll. If you're not in the My Energy app, you can log in, you stay logged in, it'll give you your daily usage. So you can track your daily kilowatt usage every day. You look at it from the past month and just kind of stay on top of making sure, there's nothing that's stuck running. Sometimes you have a high bill, but it's due to there was something a motor or something that was stuck running. So you can kind of see if your usage was 1,000 kilowatts last month and this month it's 5,000, then obviously there may be something you have to look at or contact Energy, and we'll take a look at the meter. But just kind of encourage everyone to do the My Energy app and track the usage as well.
Great. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Casey Guidry, Stark Corporation CEO, to address a proposed crisis center.
You want me to let me talk first?
Go ahead, Ms. Domingue.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had worked with administration to get this on the agenda, and thank you, Casey, for being here tonight. This is a project that myself and Mr. Navy have worked on for quite some time, as well as Mr. Guidry as well. And now more than ever, we see an increased need for mental health services in Terrebonne Parish. It's been something that we've needed for decades now. And so being that we're now in a position to be able to build something like this, I think is going to be very, very beneficial to the people of the parish. And so thank you, Casey, for being here. And you can go ahead and go with your presentation.
Sure, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Casey Guidry. I'm a social worker and the CEO of Stark Corporation. And I'm going to talk today about the proposed crisis center that we would like to build in Terrebonne Parish. Do I just go, is it left and right? Is that how? Okay, I got it. START is a nonprofit that's been around here in Terrebonne Parish for 35 plus years, and it's always sort of focused on the same thing, really helping people with mental health issues to live independently in the community. And through the years, we've sort of evolved and taken that core and really tried to address whatever needs the mental health population has. So through the years, we've done housing, we've done some community-based services, and then most recently, we've done federally qualified health centers. We have 6 total health centers, but 2 of them are located here in Terrebonne Parish. And this year we were able to work in conjunction with Nichols State and Terrebonne Parish government to purchase the clinic located at 235 Civic Center, which has really helped us to expand our services there. But I just wanted to let you know that we have been around for a long time, and we really try to look at whatever needs are in the community and how we can address those by pulling in federal, state, local dollars to address the need. Behavioral health, again, has been a really big focus of ours. Since the storm, we have been doing some focus groups and really seen our volume increase. We've had a lot of people who are struggling with substance abuse issues, mental health issues. We've seen a major increase in post-traumatic stress disorder related to weather events. A while back when we were having those storms, which seemed like they were happening every Tuesday, we would see an increase in calls and walk-ins at the clinic. People just nervous about being in their house, their anxiety heightened, their depression heightened. So we are seeing a major increase. Since the storm, our calls to the office in the clinics have been up 74%, and our services are up 114%. So they've doubled in Terrebonne Parish since last year. We've added nurse practitioners, social workers, doctors to the clinic staff, and we've just seen a tremendous increase. So really, again, like I said, when we see a need like that, we try to figure out what would be the best evidence-based practice to really address the need. So with that, let's see. Well, before I go into addressing the need, a couple of barriers that we've seen that cause people not to get care. Sometimes the cost is too high for treatment. At START, we don't discriminate for ability to pay. Even if someone is uninsured, we still see them as well. They can come in and get services. We take Medicare, Medicaid, private insurances. We do a sliding scale for people who do have some income and want to self-pay. We found that there's a big transportation problem in the parish, so we have increased our transportation. We do pickups for clinic appointments. We do community-based work where the therapist or the caseworker will go out to the home. So we've been doing that as well. We find people have difficulty navigating healthcare, so sometimes they need help to understand, this is where I go for primary care, this is where I go for behavioral health. Lack of providers, again, it's hard to sometimes get in to see a psychiatrist or a psychiatric nurse practitioner, long wait times, and like I mentioned before, lack of insurance coverage. So we are taking all of these barriers into consideration when we propose the new program. So what we're really looking at right now is trying to develop a community crisis center. It would be a building that we would have that would be basically like a mental health urgent care. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing currently, but ideally we would like to staff it 24 hours a day and work with police, ambulance, law enforcement, all of that to get people who are in mental health crisis to get triaged here rather than going to an emergency room and waiting long times and possibly getting a bed, not getting a bed, all of those things. So again, we would like to build on to our building at 235 Civic Center and have that freestanding behavioral health crisis center. Around the country, people are doing things like this, and it is a less restrictive environment. Our staff would be trained on how to approach people and how to address them in a respectful way, and really try to subside the crisis so we can avoid hospitalization if possible, put some supports and get them back into the home as soon as we can. So basically, the investment that we want to talk to you guys about is the construction of the building. We're thinking that it's going to be about 1.1, a little bit more than that, $1 million. It would be basically kind of set up like an emergency room, but a little more user friendly. There's some concepts like the living room model, where you have living room furniture as opposed to more medical facility furniture that kind of keeps people's anxiety down, makes them feel a little more comfortable. And then we would like to also ask for about $850,000 in operating costs. We feel like the first year we get this going is when we are going to incur the cost. Afterwards, year 2, 3, moving on, we feel like we will be able to bill Medicaid and private insurance for this. So it really would be the building costs and the startup costs. And then I think we would have a sustaining program for the parish and for the residents of the parish to use ongoing. Let's see. So again, we would like to eventually move up to a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, 365-day a year service, where we do intervention, crisis stabilization, suicide crisis response, some services for substance abuse and intoxication crises when people are using substances and out in the public. We want to expand the services that we're currently doing, and we really want to get to a 24-hour mobile crisis team. So that sort of leads into where we are now. Let's see. I'll come back to that. So right now, is that the right slide? No. Yep. Right now, we are selected, the state rolled out some of these crisis services on a preliminary basis, and START did get selected as the provider for the region here. So we are covering Terrebonne Parish. We currently, in one of our old locations on Magnolia Street, have a behavioral health crisis care center open, a BHCC. It's only open 8 to 4:30 right now, so people can walk in if they have a mental health crisis. Police are bringing people. We haven't got ambulance on board because of triage, but we're working on that. And then we do have a mobile crisis team, so if someone calls in and they're having a crisis in their home, we can send somebody out. Again, we are only running those 8 to 4:30 Monday to Friday during normal business hours. Our hope is, again, to expand these to 24 hours because, as you know, crises don't happen just during business hours. They happen all the time. So this would be, for people who are suicidal, homicidal, having trouble at home, altercations, that kind of thing. So that's what we currently have right now. People right now can call 988 to get assistance, and they'll dispatch us. Currently. So again, we talked a little bit about the extent of the need. Emergency rooms right now are seeing about 70% of primary care visits, and most people are coming in with behavioral health needs, which is overwhelming the emergency rooms. Unrecognized mental health, again, we're seeing a lot of that storm-related, but also in primary care settings, mental illness goes often unrecognized. That's high percentages for adults and for children. And access to care. The current ratio for a mental health provider in our region is 690 to 1, whereas the national average is 420 to 1. So we're being underserved right now tremendously. So this, I think, would help address all three of these sort of national trends that are going on. If we were to be awarded, what our plans are is to be fully operational within 3 months. We think that we can move into a temporary location at 235 Civic Center until the building is built, but we would like to get the services up and running. We'd establish an advisory work group to get some input from parish citizens on how they want the services to be and how they want them to be conducted a needs assessment, see what zip codes in the parish are in most need and have less access to care. We provide services for substance abuse and intoxication crisis, establish marketing materials so we could get the word out for this, and really strengthen the care systems in the town. So that's sort of what we're looking for. I know it's a lot of information. We did provide a more detailed proposal to the parish, and which goes into more about the evidence-based practices we would use and sort of the models and stuff like that. But that's basically it in a nutshell, and I can take any questions.
Ms. Domingue.
Anybody has.
Yeah, thank you again, Casey. We do have the proposal. It just wasn't in our backup, so I'll make sure that we get that emailed to all the council members so that they're able to read that proposal. And you had mentioned this mental health crisis starting with the hurricane. It really started with COVID. So the hurricane just perpetuated a crisis we were already seeing.
That's right.
And the crisis was happening before that as well. And you hit the nail on the head. Crisis doesn't exist Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, which is right now.
Doctors' offices are open. That's not.
And that's the services that we're providing to people in Terrebonne Parish. And I know in the district that I represent, the area that I'm in, if someone has an overdose, they get sent to the hospital. They're given Narcan, and then they're released out onto the street to go do whatever. And it happens all the time. And so having this extra level of support for people, I think it's not only going to help our substance abuse population, our homeless population, which is completely underserved in this area. It's really going to be a tremendous asset for this community. And I know everyone up here is probably thinking, where's this money going to come from? I have talked to Miss Malden, and she is trying to work some things out for me. We talked about the American Rescue Act as being a possible place where we may be able to find some of this to be able to help out. We do have some CBDG coming as well. We don't want to put all our eggs in one basket, obviously, though. So she's going to continue to work on that, and as soon as she can work some miracles out, she'll definitely bring that to us. But I will get that back up to all the council members as soon as I get home. I'll send that email out. So thank you so much, Casey.
Okay.
Mr. Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Guidry, I want to thank you and your team. Ms. Cassandra worked with me and Ms. Cunningham on a situation. One of the things that you didn't say is that you have street teams.
Yes. Right.
So we had a situation where it could have been unrecognized mental health issue with a gentleman after the storm, and your guys were able to go out there. They were diligent in finding him and working with him, so thank you for that. Going back to the crisis center, how many mental health beds do you think you're looking at putting in there?
So we will have a couple of observation beds, but our idea is not to keep people for a tremendous amount of time. It may be overnight, maybe a day or two. So we're thinking about 6 beds. Majority of the services will not be overnight services. They will be day services where we really try to get to the root of the problem really quick using some brief intervention techniques and then getting some supports in for the person. So, it may be that they're discharged to their home, but with follow-up care, somebody going to the house and checking on them and that kind of thing.
I think that's going to encourage more people to seek help because they don't like that 72-hour hold that gets put on them, and this is going to give them an option where they're going to know that they're not going to hold me there. They're going to give me some help, they're going to give me some tools, and they're going to help me carry it out. So, yeah,
Sure.
I like the idea. Thank you for the presentation.
Mr. Harding.
Yes, I don't have any degrees, but then I kind of face that in some areas of my district on a daily. Some of those things, just knowing the people, their condition, and their family members. You mentioned something earlier in reference to transportation, and in reference to how people get to start right now at the location it has, and we have Good Earth Transit. I think Good Earth Transit, somehow or another, through some type of medical assistance that they have passes where they go to the doctor or whatever, and the doctor can give them a pass.
Sure.
Or even to a point, if you have a certain age, we also have our Council on Aging here that actually bring people on an appointment. And then you guys, you mentioned something else, that the cost, and when you said the mobile crisis team, you would send a mobile crisis team to a particular location or incident. Would it be a cost to that?
So it would not be a cost to the patient. If they had insurance or Medicare or Medicaid, we would bill that insurance. But if not, it would be indigent care, which we get a grant from the federal government to cover indigent care.
Yeah, well, other than that, I just thank you for your presentation. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Guidry.
Mr. Guidry, also, thank you for the presentation that you presented. Question, I know we're having a lot of mental problems and suicides with our young adults. If I was correct, did I see that y'all going to only serve 21 years and up on this? And what's the reason for it?
So currently, the project, the small scale project that only works 8 to 4:30, is funded through Office of Behavioral Health under the Department of Health at the state, and that was what the funding was for, 21 and older adults. Our hope is to expand to adolescents, children. We do treat 0 to 18 in our clinics, but the small range crisis services that we're doing right now are adults only. With this, we would like to expand to all ages.
Yeah, because I know with all these, with all our young ones getting bullied and all this, we have a lot of suicides, and
Sure.
we just can't
It's
forget
a
our young
critical
ones.
time.
And just like a lot of these mamas and all, they need help. Parents need help because, as again, we had another murder of a young individual again in New Orleans the other night. So
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of need for mental health, in this parish. So.
And look, we're seeing a lot at the clinic. If under 18 a person comes in and has to be hospitalized, they're sending them to Shreveport. They're sending them way out of the community. There's no resources locally for them. So part of the expansion would be to try to catch all ages.
Yeah, because I know some parents that have put their kids in there and then they send them all the way to Shreveport, and it's, especially when they go in there for an extended period of time, it's hard for the parents to get back and forth with their kids,
Sure.
So and it's even hard for them to go and pick them up after they're released from the hospital up there. It's a lot of people can't afford to drive 300 miles,
That's true.
So, but thank you again for what y'all do, and God bless y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Casey, thank you for coming. I noticed you used a statistic, I think, of 70% increase.
70% increase in calls. Wait, I had it written down.
Well,
74% increase in calls, 114% increase in mental health services.
And I can only imagine that is underreported because the crisis that I'm seeing on the street with COVID and now exacerbated with the hurricanes.
Sure.
It is a major crisis. And like Mr. Harding said, we've all kind of, I think every citizen in Terrebonne has been a de facto social worker and having to help some people in our families, deal with issues. So, it's evident, and I think we do need to look for alternatives, and this is one I think we need to seriously consider.
Well, one big component in here, we did talk a lot about professional services, social workers, nurse practitioners, but one component of this program is peer support. So we'll get people who previously had substance abuse issues or mental health issues and are in recovery. We train them, and then they are very successful in engaging people and hard to reach clients. So that'll be a component of this as well, where we'll have sort of all levels, professional services, but also the peer support, which has been really good.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
We have a motion to go into 6:30 public hearings to divert, and by Mr. Carl Harding.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Dirk Guidry. Mr. Dirk Guidry. And Ms. Jessica Domang. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 6:30 public hearings. A is an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the public purpose. It's parcel number 20501 with a municipal address of 580 New Orleans Boulevard with owner of record EAC Barges, Inc., to address other related matters thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close, Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Harding. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Harding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item B, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, and that is parcel 30744, with owner of record being Bradley D. Levine, to address other matters related thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mrs. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion to adopt, Mr. Steve Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Dirk Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item C, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, and that is parcel 30745 with municipal address 314 A Island Road with owner of record being Bradley Levine, and to address other matters relative thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion closed, Mr. Steve Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Steve Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item D, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, parcel 30809, with municipal address being 568 and 569 Island Road, with owner of record Lucille Billiard, to address other matters relative thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item E, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purposes, and that is parcel 31158 with municipal address being 3298 Island Road, with owner of record being Justine Dardar, to address other matters relative thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item F, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, parcel 31159, with owner of record being Travis J. Dardar, to address other matters relative thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item G, an ordinance to acquire in full ownership the following property adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for public purpose, parcel number 32061 with municipal address 302 Island Road, with owner of Luke Knockan, and to address other matters relative thereto. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Trosclair. Seconded, Mr. Gidry. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Next one is an ordinance to declare as surplus a tax property located at 358 Railroad Avenue, adjudicated to the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government, to acquire authorization to dispose of said property in accordance with Louisiana Revised Statute 47:2196. Public once. Public twice. Third time public. Motion to close, Mr. Harding.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Domingue. All in favor say aye. Motion to adopt, Mr. Harding.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Domingue. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Item I, an ordinance to amend the 2022 adopted operating budget, 5-year capital outlay budget, and budgeted positions of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. City Marshal, $23,150. Rotary Centennial Plaza, $275,000. Animal Shelter donations, $21,777. Parish Prisoners, $11,587. La Petite Theater, $20,000. West Side Alma Street Drainage, $1,175,963. Population control, pollution control, okay, $40,855. And add an operations manager, grade 212. Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion closed.
Motion to close, Mr. Harding.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Domingue. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Harding.
Second.
Seconded, Ms. Domingue. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance is adopted. Motion to go back into regular order, Mr. Guidry, seconded by Mr. Trosclair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are back to Mr. Devon Jacobs wishes to address the council regarding renaming Jefferson Davis Street to 6th Street. Mr. Davis, go ahead and state your name and address for the record if you don't mind.
Hello, my name's Devin Jacobs. All right.
Address.
I can go ahead and...
Yeah, state your name and address if you don't mind for the record.
Devin Jacobs, address 215 Rue Reese, Houma, Louisiana, 70364.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Jacobs.
Good evening, Council. I'm here today to request an ordinance to rename Jefferson Davis Street to 6th Street. As you already may be aware via the email I sent back in June, I stated that the Southern Poverty Law Center identified Jefferson Davis Street as the last remaining public Confederate memorial display in Terrebonne Parish, and that Nicholls State University in Lafourche Parish has already initiated similar changes to its campus's Confederate memorials. Furthermore, the City Council of New Orleans adopted ordinance number 28444 that changed the name of Jefferson Davis Parkway to Norman C. Francis Parkway. Within that ordinance, they stated Jefferson Davis Parkway currently honors the first and only president of the Confederate States of America, a confederation of southern states that took up arms against our nation to preserve the institution of slavery, and the street was renamed for Jefferson Davis in the 1910s at the height of the Jim Crow era to reinforce white supremacist values and to romanticize the terror of injustice of the antebellum South. Now, Terrebonne Parish takes pride in marketing its geographic Bayou country location and its Cajun culture influence to the public with pictures of plantation homes and by use of brief historical descriptions on multiple media outlets. Though these descriptions do not explicitly convey the government's support of Confederate nostalgia, it is implicitly stated when a public street sign bearing the name of a Confederate president is allowed to exist today in our parish. Implication is further reinforced when our parish code contains an ordinance adopted from state statutes that protects the Confederate flag from desecration, along with the U.S. and state flag, but not the Union flag or any other flag for that matter. And so a mutually supportive association exists between Cajun culture, the Terrebonne Parish government, and Confederate ideology, and will remain synonymous with each other for as long as Jefferson Davis Street stands. The character, the contributions, and the achievements of those we choose to memorialize is reflective of the cultural and social attitudes of the collective community and the community's authoritative decision makers. Regardless of the who, what, why, and when Jefferson Davis Street was allowed to be erected in Houma, the question to ask ourselves is Jefferson Davis a person we would recognize today as someone worthy of being memorialized by our current moral standards as a community here in Terrebonne Parish? In other words, would we have chosen to memorialize Jefferson Davis over Barry Bonvillain in renaming the Houma Civic Center, or Jefferson Davis over Percy Gabriel when renaming Senator Street? After a black parent explains to a black child who Jefferson Davis was and what he stood for, is that child going to feel inspired by him or comfortable or welcomed by those who memorialize him? Because as of right now, the Jefferson Davis Street sign does not say to black people, please move here, you're welcome here. If anything, it acts as a racially motivated repellent, signifying that this is not your neighborhood, stay away. As a matter of fact, a recent study conducted by Professor Clifton Green at Emory University revealed patterns in residential segregation after analyzing demographic data on sales transactions conducted on Confederate-named streets. For example, in Florida, the study shows that homes on Confederate streets are 30% less likely to be owned by black households, 20% less likely by registered Democrats, and 17% less likely by people with a college degree. According to multiple public data sources, there are currently 26 owners of 19 properties that contain the Jefferson Davis Street name as a municipal address in Houma. 22 out of the 26 owners are white. Only 2 out of the 26 are black. 46% are registered Republicans, and 27% are registered Democrats. Along with these starting figures, further data analysis of our area may reveal to be following a similar housing segregation trend as examined in the study. And lastly, in Terrebonne Parish's comprehensive plan, it says the number one goal and objective is to create a sense of place and connectedness that can help all citizens of the parish understand and feel the pride that comes with that attainment. Jefferson Davis and his Confederate ideology simply does not align with the goals and objectives of Terrebonne Parish in this day and age. Failure to rename the sign is a failure of the parish's number one goal to create a sense of place and connectedness for all its citizens. And so that's why I'm requesting to rename the Jefferson Davis Street sign to 6th Street. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your concerns. All right, moving along, we have a card from Mr. Mike DeLon. Wants to address AT&T damage to water lines and other.
Yes, thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
If you don't mind,
name's
states.
Michael DeLon, 311 Lewis Drive, District Number 5. The people that are putting down these fiber optic cables all across the parish, they're doing horrible jobs. They're messing up. It's not just in Lisa Park's been hit hard. About 2 months ago, they drilled through the lady's sewer line and it backed up into her house. She did not know that it was their line that was causing this issue. She had a plumber go out and they had to dig up their yard, which was not her fault in any way, shape, or form, and she had to fork out a ton of money. Well, 3 weeks ago on Friday, I get a knock on my door at 8:30 in the morning, and they got a Hispanic guy that speaks little or no English telling me that they think they hit my water line. I walk out and look on my front yard. In my driveway, I got a fountain about 1.5 feet high coming out of my sewer washout. I spoke to them, and they said that it was the parish's fault. I know ahead of time that the parish does not mark utilities. That is done by the 811. They come out there and I said, no, it can't be. And he goes, it's their fault. They didn't mark it right. And I said, let me ask you something. They had marks for 3 red lines, meaning the power lines that go, because our power supply is underground. They get out there and they went back and forth. Then one of their other guys came out and he said that it was the parish's fault. And I said, no, it can't be. I said, dude, if the markings aren't there, why would you even start to dig on the thing? He goes, well, we were told that the water lines were 19 inches below the surface, which was totally false. It's closer to 4 feet. Because I seen once they got out there and they had to dig up my brand new driveway that I just put down less than a year ago. They dug it out. The Waterworks District, I don't care if anybody says anything rad about them, they're wrong. They came out, they were there from noon until 7 o'clock at night. The people across the street's lines who they totally severed, they've got babies. They've got a 1-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. Those guys stayed out there in the heat and in the dark and made certain that they had water. The other people that once the inspector came out from the waterworks and looked at it, those guys packed up and left. Didn't tell anybody anything else or nothing like that what they would or wouldn't have to do. So we finally get out there. Like I said, the waterworks guys came out. They dug up my brand new driveway. They tore up my neighbor's yard. They're tearing up yards like crazy. They're leaving trash all over the place. And it's like, who cares? Waterworks came out on Friday. Waterworks came back on Monday to dig it all back up to repair the lines so those people across the street could have water pressure and that kind of stuff.
We have a motion to extend. Mr. Harding seconded. Mr. Guidry, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
Thank you. After the waterworks came out, they fixed all the lines and everything. They got out there. The company that was doing the drilling came out. They dug the whole thing back up again. They put mud all over the street, mud all over the yards. The yards are all tore up. And they come out there again. The next day they come back. They finished it up. They tore everything up. They spoke to my neighbor and they told him that they were going to come out and fix his yard and take care of that there was a contractor that was going to be hired by the parish to repair my concrete. And I said, how can they be liable for something that you did? He goes, no, that's just the way it is. Well, the guys that dug up my driveway originally came back out and they explained everything to me. Can't ask for any friendlier people. They were on top of things. They all the way across. You can't complain now, not at all. And I told him what was going on. He goes, don't worry, we're going to take care of it. A week ago today, they dug the driveway up that was tore up. They fixed it. It's brand new, have no complaints. But what we need to do is to get on these people. I talked to some people and they said that they could not stop AT&T from boring in a yard or something like that. If they're, it's costing us money. It's costing everybody. They had a guy at 405. They went through his sewer. Everybody's sewer backed into his house. They had 4 pollution trucks, big trucks, in his front yard cleaning his house out from what these people had done. They've done it on Malibu. And then when I asked the guy, I said, I haven't seen a fiber optic cable around. The guy from AT&T told one of the neighbors that was on this cavernous that's butted up to our backyards, and he says, we don't even have the cable. It's back ordered. We don't know when we're going to get the cable. They've got holes dug up in everybody's yard. All we need is, well, the only good thing is school's back in. What happens if a kid falls in that hole or something like that? Who's going to take care of it then? Kid dies because they drown in, they run away. I mean, it's impossible to keep up. And they leave trash all over the place. And if you want to, you're more than welcome to come in my house and look, and you can look at my neighbor's front yard. It's just, and he is immaculate with his yard. I'm not, but he is, and now it looks like a bomb went off in there. And you're more than welcome to come out and look. You can knock on my door.
Well, thank you for coming. Our planning director here's what you're saying, and I know he talks with those people. So, but thank you very much. He will address that, I'm sure, with them. But
thank you very much. Y'all have a nice evening out. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I think we're on committee reports.
Skip the presentation about administration. Did you say that they were not?
They had. I was told that. Sorry, Mr. Babin, your time is up. Just a joke. No, I was told they weren't going to give a presentation because of the other 2 we had. I didn't get it right. Was that okay?
With all this glass, I can't hear stuff over here, which ought to come down.
Budget and Finance Committee, Mr. Harding.
Yes, I make a motion to that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Budget and Finance Committee held on August 8, 2022, and I have one public hearing, and that is an ordinance to amend the 2022 adopted operating budget 5-year capital outlay budget and budgeted position of the Terrebonne Parish Consolidated Government for the following items and to provide for related matters. Highway Road Extension Bridge, $281,686. Parish Sports Parks Complex, $56,441. Housing and Human Service Head Start HVAC System, $530,500. Homer Police Department, $118,170. Add 1 police captain, grade P5. Add 1 police lieutenant, grade P4. Add 1 police sergeant, grade P3. Add 4 police officers, grade P1. Planning, actually to the negative, $8,433. Add 1 planner, 1, grade 207, and delete 1 planner 2, grade 207, and call for a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. And thank you.
Motion, Mr. Harding, second, Mr. Guidry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item B, Public Service Committee, Mr. John Amity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Public Services Committee held on August 8th, 2022, and I have 3 public hearings. Number 1 is an ordinance to authorize the permanent relocation of a Terrebonne Parish precinct polling location and call a public hearing on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. The second is an ordinance to amend Section 4-4 of the Terrebonne Parish Code to allow permitted organizations to sell alcohol at permitted events and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. And the third is an ordinance to amend Section 21-30 of the Terrebonne Parish Code to allow permitted organizations to sell alcohol at permitted events and call a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 24, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Moves Mr. Amity, seconded Mr. Trosclair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Community Development and Planning Committee, Mr. Trosclair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Community Development Planning Committee held on August 8, 2022, and I have no public hearings.
Moved by Mr. Trosclair, seconded Mr. Amity. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item D, Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee. Ms. Domingue.
I make a motion that the council accept and ratify the minutes of the Policy, Procedure, and Legal Committee held on August 8th, 2022, and I have one public hearing. An ordinance to appoint Miss Brandy Becknell as Terrebonne Parish Council Senior Minute Clerk to set the salary and to set an effective date relative thereto and call a public hearing on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m.
Move Ms. Domingue, second Ms. Trosclair. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item 4, street lights, license installations, removals, and activations, as per by Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. Steve Trosclair. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Vacancies to various boards, committees, and commissions coming up. Recreation District Number 3A Board has one expiring term on August 26, 2022. And one expired term. Recreation District Number 6 Board has one expired term. Recreation District Number 7 Board has one expired term. Bayou Blue Fire Protection District Board has one expired term. The Coteau Fire Protection District Board has one expired term. Fire Protection District Number 8, one expired term. Terrebonne Parish Tree Board, one vacancy due to resignation. Veterans Memorial District has one expiring term on September 17th, 2022, representing the parish president south of the Intracoastal. Monthly engineers reports, Milford and Associates, T. Baker Smith, as per Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mr. Steve, Ms. Domingue. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item 7, staff reports is a potential add-on introducing an ordinance for the permanent appointment and hiring of a council clerk and the hiring of assistant council clerk for the Terrebonne Parish Council and calling a public hearing on said matter on Wednesday, August 24th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. Do we have a motion to add on?
Motion to add on.
Motion to add on, Ms. Domingue, seconded by Mr. Amity. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Wait. Do we have any public who has any issue with us adding this on or with us or this particular ordinance? Public once, public twice, third time public.
Motion to close.
Motion to close public, Ms. Domingue, seconded Mr. Dirk Guidry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I know we've already voted to add it on. Motion to adopt Mr. Dirk Guidry, seconded Mrs. Steve Trosclair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's not adopt. We're motion to introduce the ordinance. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Ordinance is introduced. 8, announcements. Parish President, Mike, do you have any announcements? Any council members have any announcements? Do we have motion to adjourn, Mr. Trosclair?
Second.
Second, Ms. Domingue. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Have a good night.